at different spots and we could respond.
Yeah, actually, that's cool. And then we could talk
Yeah.
about Pluto. And he is a Capricorn. Not, I mean, if that matters. And then
But no pictures
Late
of
one,
Pluto
too.
because that'll get us Disney copyright strike. So
ooh, or NASA copyright strike, or is that a thing?
oh yeah. Original content. Got to watch out for that shit.
Yeah.
Because the moon is because it's fake. That was the joke. That was the joke.
Wait,
Oh,
what was the joke?
Pluto's made up by NASA. Sorry.
yeah. Space is fake.
Because it's IP.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were
Space
going
is
like.
fake?
I thought he
I'm
was
not-
going flat Earth. Never mind.
Oh,
I'm not willing to go to space is fake yet. You know, it's just maybe it's gay though. It could be gay, but I don't think it's
It's
fake
kinda
and
gay.
gay at the same time. It's either
No.
yeah.
well, it's
I bet
definitely
the
not
more
lame.
advanced the civilization gets, the more fake and gay it gets. I would guess.
Yeah,
You know.
that's true. We're at that point now, boy. Ugh.
Next step to the stars, man. To get the fuck away.
Now I get it. Yeah.
I hear that.
You know.
You always I mean, but that's why I'm here on Earth, to stay away from the stars. They scare me.
Yeah, the yawning caverns of darkness are a little bit scary sometimes when you think about it. What all lives in this universe? Who knows?
Those dark caverns.
Yeah. You gotta watch out for them caverns.
I mean,
shout out to Luke Caverns if you want to go learn about some interesting archaeology stuff.
Luke
actually,
Caverns. I haven't heard that.
Well, like he's basically he's a guy who more or less he got out of archaeology and realized, oh, the mainstream stuff is all kind of full of shit. So he basically just like used YouTube and he runs his own tours as his way to basically fund his own research.
Wow.
Yeah. But like, hey, I gotta go have a tour in Egypt by a fucking expert, you know, is like, yeah, that sounds great. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
does he think dinosaurs are real?
I mean, he thinks your mom's real.
Hey, oh,
got him.
Clink. Yeah. Cheers.
Sorry, that's my monitor. Here you go.
Oh yeah, just clink you just put it up to your monitor, the pictures of us. Like, here you go. What you drinking, Troy?
Spiked kombucha.
What do you spike it with?
Does
it come that way?
It's plantation overproof rum.
Nice.
So it's basically it's made to be a mixer, so it's a little stronger, so you have to put less in. So it's also like a much more complementary taste rather than trying to take over the drink. So it's a little subtler in its flavor, and it just mixes really well with a lot of different flavors, you know?
Nice. Sounds good.
Yeah.
You and your kombucha, how's BNF going?
Better and better. Making new friends every day.
Good.
In case they're watching.
Oh, right.
Everything's great.
Of course.
Oops, I shouldn't have dropped the name.
They're always watching.
FNB. I meant FNB.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's going on in the stars, bros?
Well, that's a good question. Can I?
There's a couple big things.
Yeah.
One is that Mars is about to go in Cancer, and it will be there basically until it'll be there in an early Leo from now until April 20th almost.
Oh shit.
So we're gonna have the longest Mars retrograde in Cancer that you've ever felt in your life. It's gonna be pretty good.
What is that?
What does
that's
that mean?
coming up? Oh no.
So I think that's gonna be especially around the transition of the January, basically, is when the retrograde is really stationed and stuff, I think. The other thing I noticed today when I was looking at charts was Neptune is going to go into Aries for the first time in 2025 around April. And the last time Neptune was in Aries was 1861, which is the Civil War. I think it's like pretty much when the Civil War was starting.
Can I just jump in real quick? A day before the Civil War started is when it went into Aries. I looked this up a while ago, but yeah, like that's how close. I mean, literally. So it was, I think, April 12th. I think is when it went into Aries.
So you're aiming it. I just hear you guys are blaming the Civil War on the stars and the bars.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
No, we're wondering if history is going to rhyme. Basically, that's what we're really wondering. That's what we're thinking about.
I hope
Although
not,
I think it's going to be a revolutionary war disguised as a civil war. I think that's how it's going to probably play out. I would guess.
Well, I mean, it's like how much of it has to be violent, though. I mean, there's definitely a change going on right now, but I mean, there's certain elements that could have made it go more violent, but at this, as I see it right now, is that like, everybody's towing the line for the most part because they think the other guys are the bad guys, so you kind of have to behave for the most part, you know. So it's just like this weird kind of Cold War standoff thing, politically speaking, right now.
Oh yeah,
you know, and I mean, I hope it doesn't get worse, you know, that's for sure. But I don't know. That stuff's unsustainable, and the truth ends up coming out. So that's what I have faith in, you know. And with so much tension going on, hopefully a lot of truth comes out.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Like truth, like government stuff, or like are we talking like what kind of truth are we talking about here?
Oh, I mean, it's all around whether or not your partner is cheating on you.
But
nothing
specifically
else.
that? Oh, okay,
Yes,
nothing else. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay,
No,
okay.
but I'm just saying as a general thing is that, like, you know, when you have more data, you're going to get closer to the truth, you know, because we're pattern recognition. And one thing is that we have our emotions that help guide us to the truth. And
True.
and it's not to say that our emotions tell us the truth or whatever, but I mean, there's various signs that when, you know, I usually find I'm humbled by the truth. It's like, oh, it was sitting there the whole time, but I was overlooking it because of my own issues and ego and lack of willingness to acknowledge it.
Fuck yeah. Let's go. Well, yeah. I would also attribute, I mean, if we're talking astrology, I would also throw out Orcus. I know I brought up Orcus before, but that Orcus is currently in Virgo, and I think the sun's about to conjunct it pretty soon. But you know, Orcus, Punisher of broken oaths, which indirectly is about, you know, if you break an oath, you're not telling the truth, and like when you break an oath, you can't escape Orcus's punishment. And I just find that interesting because Orcus does its return, like so, like Pluto is having, you know, the U.S. is having its Pluto return, you know, the final bits of it right now. But Orcus also, because Orcus is also a Plutino, it has a similar time frame of orbit as Pluto. The U.S. is
Orcus
also going.
Is another small planet, right? Planetoid or whatever.
Yeah. It's
past Eris.
No, it's actually near Pluto. I mean, it's considered the anti-Pluto because its orbit is like literally the same but opposite of Pluto. So like every time like Pluto's in one side, Orcus is on the other. But it's
crazy.
Same amount of time that it takes to go around the zodiac, or like roughly. And so the US is also having its Orcus return as well. And I just a lot of the so we have like the Pluto stuff happening with the US, and then also I think part of the other side of that is like you know, if you think about especially government and like, you know, you take an oath of office, or you know, swear on the Bible. I mean, the whole idea is like, at least in ancient times, like to swear an oath was like fucking held with high esteem. Like if you swear an oath, you better fucking hold to it. And like, you know, we think
And
of
if you broke
politicians.
one, it's bad.
Oh God,
bad
yeah,
news.
no, yeah, and yeah, Orcus was Eris's son, or one of Eris's sons, and probably the only good child that Eris had in mythology, because a lot of Eris's kids were the worst possible things that we experienced. And but Orcus was the one that was like, okay, I'm gonna do good, and yeah, if you break an oath, and I guess just by that man, just if you go against your word, if you say one thing and do another, Orcus will catch up to you and punish you, so to speak. That's kind of the mythology of it. But I mean, in astrology, we take from the mythology, and I
Yeah.
think like, yeah, Orcus might not be as powerful as Pluto, but it definitely has it comes into play. And so I bring up Orcus again because I think it's around mid Virgo right now. I'd have to look exactly. I'd say like 15, roughly 15 Virgo, and so the sun's about to move to transit and conjunct it. So, but yeah, and just I think it has to do with a lot of this stuff that's coming out, and like all the people who have broken their oath, or they're have just basically gone
Oath of
against what they.
office.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Like, I mean, we could talk about just politicians, but just people in general who, like, they, if you put your hand on the Bible and you swear, like, to tell the truth and or like you swear that you're gonna uphold this office, like, and you fucking go against that and you're lying, then I think the way Orcus punishes is the truth comes out, regardless of how hard
Yep.
you try to like avoid it or whatever. So
Hide it.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
I rolled
Just
a 3 third house Cancer Neptune today for the call, so it might get spacey
Can
that's
you
an odd one.
for
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah.
you're
I feel
speaking in
it.
another language, so I don't know what you mean. Break it down for me.
Oh, so third house is communication, so that totally makes sense for a podcast, right?
Okay.
Neptune is kind of dreams and visions a little bit more, and
Gotcha.
Cancer is like the root of emotionality. So this might be a more free flowing one than we've had before.
For sure.
That's more led by
So you're saying we should talk about our hopes and
conjecture.
dreams?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. It just might be the way that we talk about the things that come up. I don't know.
Yeah.
More idealistic, more diffuse, a little bit less pragmatic, maybe.
So
Might be that
Dreamy and
vibe.
Steamy. That's the name of the podcast.
What was that? One more time.
Dreamy and Steamy.
That works.
3B
That
and
works.
Stevie.
Dreamy and steamy. Dreamy and Stevie. That's what we
3B and
call it.
Stevie.
Well,
Dreamy and Steamy.
Got it. Got it.
I don't know.
But what you said is way funnier.
It was on accident, but
I
I'll
mean,
try to make more accidents.
Well, you're
happy accidents.
Happy accidents. It's not a mistake, because I'm not willing to admit it's a mistake. So it's a happy accident,
Happy, who's the painter? The happy little accidents or whatever.
Bob Ross, man.
Yeah,
that's Bob Ross.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, that guy's cool.
Maybe a saint.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a crocodile hunter was a saint.
Happy little accident. You give him the bird. Right? Isn't that what Bob Ross said? I think it's.
Yeah,
I think it's what he said.
I could see him being
Put
just
birds
like,
on it?
Yeah. Paint some birds on it. Yeah, exactly. Fuck yeah. Oh,
well,
I went to
There's actually a bar down the road that they have the Bob Ross channel on there, and it's one of my favorite things when I go in there, because they'll have an animal channel. They'll have sports on almost everyone, like a normal bar, but one of the screens is the fucking Bob Ross channel, and you just watch him fucking commonly painting there. And when you're somewhere around your second drink, you just walk over there and you're just like, life is great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Dude, that guy, I mean, if you want, that's true ASMR without intentionally being it, but like he's fucking calming and shit. Like that guy can put me to sleep in a good way. Like you're just like, Bob Ross, fuck yeah. No homo.
It's like Enya. Enya does that for me. Did you say no homo at the end of that? No homo. No homo.
No homo. Yeah, he can put me to sleep. No homo. Yeah, but no, Enya's fucking great, dude. That brings me back. Oh man. To my,
I still listen to Enya sometimes. It showed up in my top 100 once because I was using it to sleep so often. But I was kind of mad, so I don't use it as much.
Oh, that's good.
I've cut back on my Enya consumption.
Well, some of her songs end up just like supercharging me sometime, where I'm just like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, peace and love, calmness is awesome.
Yeah, the music swells and gets fucking
Yeah.
it gets
There's
intense.
some good
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
there are. That's awesome. Let me share a story real quick. And maybe we can
Yeah.
talk about what the astrology of this was, because fuck it. So I went to a comedy show last night, and when it was in
Yeah.
well, fuck, I don't care. It was in Tacoma, so if you know the layout of this area, so I'm
Yeah.
north of Seattle. Tacoma's, it's a good 45-minute drive, and
Was it in that big round thing?
no, God,
I don't
no,
know.
no.
Okay.
The what was that called? That's the Tacoma Dome. No, this was at the Tacoma Comedy Club, which is just a comedy club.
Okay. Nice.
But so like we're driving down and we're about 10 minutes out and my car just starts smoking. Have had, it's fucked now, but I had an older car. So well, okay, time out. First off, we're driving through Seattle. There's a little bit of traffic. We're like, what the fuck's this traffic for on a Saturday? And then all of a sudden we see smoke billowing ahead. And then we drive by and there's a car fully engulfed in flames on the freeway. Fully engulfed in
Wow.
flames. I've never seen it was a newer car too. I've never seen a car fully on fire. Like the thing was
No, I haven't either. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
No,
a
it
rare
was.
thing to see for sure.
I've seen it a
I
few
hear
times.
Exactly. No, like full flames. Okay, yeah. The thing was like melting. I swear to God. And there was no fire trucks there yet.
Well, the front half of the car, but I think that still counts.
Well, okay. Technically, this was the front half of the car as well. And so I made a comment like, "Oh shit, I've never seen that. That's fucking crazy. Cars don't usually catch on fire. That's a thing in movies." Then my car starts fucking smoking. Oh, my food's here. Hi,
you.
Amber.
Nice.
Ooh, thanks. Thank you, baby.
Napkin. Have a cake
Oh.
drink.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, there we go. Sorry, boys.
Welcome
And
to Seattle.
You
yeah,
must
yeah,
apologize forever for that.
yeah.
Yes.
And then so then we keep driving.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh shit. Thank you.
Nice.
I love you too. Hi. Oh, they say hi.
Hi. Fuck you, Sean.
Hello.
Hi, Troy.
Oh. All right, whatever. So the car starts smoking.
I
My
didn't hear it,
car,
so I don't know. Yeah.
my car starts smoking. Like we're about 10 minutes out, my car starts smoking, and then like the check engine light comes on, fucking crazy noises, pull off into a gas station off the freeway. My car's fucked. So I
Yeah.
opened the hood and there was a little fucking fire in my goddamn, like, what the fuck was up with Oh, was it? It was a Leo moon, wasn't
That's
it?
crazy.
Yeah.
What was
My
it?
car's,
It was a Leo moon.
so I'm just thinking like,
Hmm.
what the fuck?
So a Leo got in there and set the fires. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Maybe when you were
apparently.
driving past the big fire, like it was just enough to slightly ignite something.
It threw
Was it?
some
How
flames at us.
close did you get? How close did you get to the car that was on fire? How many
But
lanes away were you?
I like 2, because we didn't want to be close to it because I'm like, shit, that thing might blow up.
Yeah, it's on fire.
Yeah, right. But it was
How
just
soon
like
after that did you catch on fire? Was
like
it
a
like
good
just
20
a mile down?
No, like a
Oh.
good 20 minutes,
Okay.
25 minutes later. It was just a wild coincidence. I say that with quotes because those things exist.
Yeah.
But like it was just fucking crazy because like we passed a car that was like fully engulfed in flames, and then my car was like, I'm gonna take a shit now, and my car is fucking old, so it's under this was gonna be it was
makes
gonna die. Yeah, but like I didn't expect this, and like so then we fucking pull off. Anyways, I had to like pour water on it, put it out. We left it at the gas station. We got an Uber to the fucking comedy show. It's like fuck it, we're still gonna go to the show. We go back. I have to call AAA to have them bring my car back up here so I can fucking deal with it.
Yep.
The tow truck didn't have 2 seats for us. So the guy it's one of those flatbed tow trucks where they basically like go like this and they put your car and then it's like sitting on top. It's not like one of the ones where it like pulls it like that. The guy's like, "Well, you two can sit in your car while we're driving." So we sat in my car on the back of a fucking tow truck.
With this crazy.
No, not like that. Not like that. It was a flatbed one, so we were like this.
Okay,
But
okay.
we were fucking being like transported in the back of a fucking like in my car on the back of a tow truck. I don't even know if it was legal or not. Who fucking knows? But it was just like the weirdest fucking night, and like I'm just trying to like figure out the astrology of it because it was like the car issue, the show was great. Like, so it wasn't
Didn't you get a
necessarily.
picture with the dude? I thought I saw that. Like,
I did,
you got a
yeah,
picture with one of the
yeah, yeah.
comedians. That's cool.
Oh God, yeah. He was really fucking cool, and he was Oh, and the other thing, we got to the show and we got there about 5 or 10 minutes late. And they're like, oh, well, one of the front row premium seats, they didn't show up. So you can have that. So we got to fucking sit front row at the table right at the front. So then he was roasting me and Amber. It was fucking hilarious.
Oh,
And
you got roasted?
oh God, yeah, because all the front
Hell
seats
yeah.
like he'll poke fun at.
Yeah.
And so it was a fucking crazy night, but like it was fucking awesome. But like I'm trying to figure out the astrology of it because like
Yeah. Well, do
I
you
don't
know
know.
what transits were happening to your chart? Because that's what I would look at. Yeah.
That's a good. The moon was moving to oppose my sun, so it was like a personal full moon, like literally the whole evening. And then I guess oh, and then Uranus went retrograde, I think today. So maybe it was like Uranus was stationing retrograde. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only two things I could think of because the moon was not like Mercury is loosely square Uranus. I mean, it's like probably like 6 or 7 degrees. And then the moon, I think, was moving to conjunct Mercury as well. But it was just, I don't know. I couldn't figure out, like, I was looking at the chart today and I couldn't figure out like what all this shit was about. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but
That's a crazy amount of things that happen though in one day, you know?
exactly.
Signals, man. Who knows what they mean though?
Mm-hmm.
See, sometimes if I see something, like if the first time I meet somebody, I drop a wine glass or I spill wine in some way, like I now, after seeing it happen so many times, I know that there's going to be some kind of an emotional problem sometime down the line with that person. It's like there's sometimes the universe gives you like omens or signs, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I do
old
agree with that.
mills,
It's similar to
old
witching.
mills tales are sometimes true.
Well, like using a witching rod or whatever. It's like it's basically just how do I put it this way? A way to help exaggerate so you can feel better the intuition and the energy flowing through you, you know? And sometimes yeah, and that's what our emotions are. So when we'll sometimes have little things like that that are very subtle ways, you know? And it's like once we learn to know ourselves better, then we can see those little things and be like, it's like, because like one thing is like our bodies are all different, so I've noticed that like when I get stressed out or tired, which things go first in my ability, so my body starts to prioritize my brain power. So it's like so it's like I know like when my first ones, like when I know when I start getting irrationally angry, so just somebody being stupid, some random person like in traffic or whatever. And then I'm like, and I get angry and I'm like, "Oh, okay. Okay. I'm tired. I need to take care of myself." Cuz
Yeah.
it's the little signs when you start to realize, "Oh, I'm starting to act out of character." And you start because once you recognize your own patterns, then it's really easy to be like, "Oh, okay, here I'm moving in the wrong direction." And a lot of that's just comes back to self-care, getting your needs met, and listening to your body. But and sometimes it's listening to your intuition.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but how do you handle like I'm not trying to harp on my experience last night, but like when it's this weird mix of things going out of your control wrong, quote unquote, but also at the same time things going really right, and like these weird like things like where like for example, like if my car didn't have issues, we wouldn't have been able to be in the front row at the show. And then the fact that this tow truck driver, like, instead of just like being like, well, fuck it, I don't have seats in my truck, so we can't take you. He's like, oh, just get in the back of your car and we'll fucking, I mean, it was this weird mix of things going incredibly well and also things like, so I don't know how much of that is just like chaos and just the fucking randomness and versus like, I don't know. It was just, it was this kind of this mind fuck. Go ahead.
Was the Leo moon opposing your sun during it?
Like
almost
literally
exact.
Oh yeah, it was. I think it all started around like 17. My son's at 18.
That's probably
Yeah.
the trigger then. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's the trigger at least. There are probably other things that it's hitting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
Well, and I mean, how I see it is in the sense is that like these were karmic things that we're waiting to release, and then as soon as you're ready for them, they pop up.
Ah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's like as soon as you have the leverage to do that, especially when especially with I find that small things like karma that you accumulated in this lifetime, it's really easy to stack them up in a stack like that and just knock them all out in a weird fucking story like that. Then you get a cool story about it, you know? That's
Yeah.
what I've noticed because that's all the little things of you not taking care of your car or little things like this or whatever.
I
Or
do.
no,
It's an
I'm
old
just
fucking car. That's the point.
I'm
But go ahead.
speaking in
Yeah.
generality.
Oh,
You know,
gotcha.
my car's on the fritz and it's about to die at any fucking time. So
You
I
get
get
it.
it. But I'm just saying is that whatever that karma is, you know, when it's the little things, it's really easy for them to stack up and have a really fucking crazy day. But also,
Oh,
if you handle it right, you can actually move past all that fucking karma in one stack too. And it's a like think of it as like a procrastinator's way of doing like all your fucking homework assignments.
oh, I dig that.
You know?
Okay, I get what you're saying. Because it felt like a lot all at once, and positive and negative. So maybe like karma is not just. I think I assume karma as being a negative thing, but it can be both. I mean, it can be
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it's
And
the good and bad for sure.
yeah, but that's
even
okay.
but it's all data in the sense,
Yeah,
and all karma is there is to teach you. And it's like for me, it's all like, oh, here's your snag point. You know, your shirt's getting caught on something, and you're supposed to like it's bringing attention to you, so you can be like, okay, take the time to unsnag yourself so you can keep moving.
yeah,
And so it's like that's what a lot of karma is just catching your snag points.
yeah,
And that's why it comes up right now versus any other time.
yeah, yeah. No, no, and I think what you were saying, where it was all stuff was building in different ways. Like, the car thing is. I knew this day would come eventually because I know how. I mean, the car had like 260,000 miles on it, and I've had it for
Good job,
fucking
I hear
man.
ever.
you, man.
Did you get it new?
Uh,
Did you get it
n-
new back in the day?
almost new. I mean, it was my
Got it.
first car. We're going back. I've had it for 2006 to now, so what, 18 years?
Nice.
I know. I mean, it's a Honda, so Hondas
I
Yeah,
hear
those
ya.
will last for
they
a
go.
long time.
Yeah,
I
but
hear I
yeah,
hear you.
but
I got a Subaru. I got it at like 175,000 miles, and I now have
yeah.
353 on it.
Yeah.
I thought it smelled like cigarettes when I got it, and I thought that it was gonna last me like about 2 years before it shat out on me. And it was like somewhere around the 1 year point of driving the car. I'm like, oh my God, I don't smell cigarettes anymore. It was just like a year of driving with the windows down. It finally got all the cigarettes gone.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
It's been my fucking chariot now for fucking 12 years.
Yeah, buddy.
I
Yeah.
It'd
put
be
But
ironic
4,000
if
miles on it in the last like 4 months. I drove to Portland and back and Salem and back like so many times.
Huh.
And driving all around town and such like that. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Cheers to reliability.
Fuck yeah. Until it doesn't until it fucking shits
catches
the
on
bed
fire.
and
Well, I
yeah,
already got
exactly.
another one on the way. So
A car?
yeah, I basically because I got a shell of a car mechanic special, that head gasket blew on it, so I basically got a rebuilt engine to replace it with. But
Nice.
it's like a luxury edition Subaru, so it's got like real leather seats and heated side mirrors and all those kinds of weird little bells and whistles in it. So then I'll have a brand new engine in it, and yeah, eventually yeah, get some other stuff done to it too.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to my story, boys. It was but I think what you said, Troy, about just the idea of things will build like things. It's funny how like with the transits to one's personal chart, like things build up in the background, and then the transits indicate like obviously the timing of stuff, and like it's like things will build, and all these things will kind of come, like different things from different angles will all come, and then it'll all culminate at one point, and then just go, and then like it always lines up with the transit. And like for me, I mean, I think it was my personal full moon in terms of the transit moon opposite my natal sun. And then also, I really do think because my natal sun is ruled by Uranus, Uranus was stationing stationing retrograde yesterday and last night, and it went retrograde today. I feel like that has some, especially Uranus is kind of like, it feels like there's some Uranus energy going on there. So it was just kind of an interesting thing, like a call kind of, and then yeah, obviously today as well we have Pluto moving back into Capricorn, so we can if we want we can transition to that discussion. But yeah,
Well,
it's
as you're
interesting.
talking about funny stories, I thought I'd tell you one real quick.
Please, yeah.
So I was doing a brand new farmer's market, slinging some kombucha, and I was there by myself because I knew it wasn't going to make us money. And so I was in there setting the taps, closed the door behind me, and something on the latch broke, and I couldn't get myself out.
Oh
no!
And so
you locked yourself in a kombucha stall?
No way.
I'm in the fucking cooler, locked in.
Oh,
and it's 10 minutes until market's open, and the register and everything's just sitting out there. I mean, it's like not the worst situation, but I'm just sitting here being like, how am I gonna get out of this situation? I start problem solving, and I start thinking about stuff, and then eventually I come to the one where it's like, hey, wait, my Bluetooth speaker's still playing music in the other cabin. So I go download this app that basically turns my thing into a megaphone. And so then I turn it up, and then I'm like, hello, hello. And I'm trying to have a calm voice. Hey, can I please have some help? I'm trapped in the trailer. Can someone open the door for me? And I'm just like,
my God.
and the whole time I'm just like imagining somebody else and just like sitting in their booth being like, just waiting for shit to happen. And then they're just like,
what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
hello.
What is this?
Yeah.
It's just like they're just hearing, and it took like 3-4 minutes of me just like being like, hello,
shit.
could I please have some help? Yeah. And then I feel somebody get into the other side of the trailer and like look around, and then they come around the back side to the other door, and then they let me out. But it was just like just so hilarious. I was laughing so hard.
That's really fucking funny. That's
it's
honestly really smart too, how you handled that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great problem solving. That's
dude.
impressive.
Yeah.
I'm just forever gonna just be imagining just sitting there being like, hey, yeah, you. I need your help.
Yeah. He's like, what the fuck's going on with Spotify right now? What the fuck is this song? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
This is not a weird ad. I need your help.
Yeah. There are ads like that, dude. Oh my God. Holy shit. That's wild. See? Okay, and that was yesterday?
That was what, Thursday?
Thursday. Okay, yeah. Well, it's funny how things work out, you know? So what is that? I don't know. Some Jupiter energy, just fucking, you get some good luck sometimes, I guess.
For sure.
Like they've said, the old sages of old, the more Jupiter, the more stupider.
Yes.
Men go to Mars to eat candy bars. Okay. I'm gonna go kill myself. All right, well, yeah.
Please don't.
Okay. Oh God, yeah. Oh no. No. All right, boys. Let's get serious. Let's fucking get serious about astrology and life.
Super serious.
Super serious.
Super fucking serious.
Pluto's back in Capricorn.
Yeah.
How did the institutions of the U.S. fare during Pluto and Capricorn, do you think? How many of them tested well?
What's that time frame?
Good question.
I don't know what you mean.
2008 to basically 2020, 21, 22.
Oh, so they're just coming out of what you're saying.
Yeah.
It went into
Yeah.
Aquarius for a little bit, and now it's back into Capricorn for the last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want
when
to
was it in
simplify it?
Aquarius?
2010s.
You're saying it
What?
was in Aquarius for a while and then it came back?
Yeah.
Yeah, but mostly the 2010s were pretty much all under it.
Okay.
So, how
I
do you
think
think
that's
our
pretty-
institutions did over the course of the 2010s?
They rotted from the inside.
Yes, I think is that arguable anymore, or do we? I don't know. It feels like that's pretty
Well, no, it's
evident.
just, I mean, if we're continuing with the analogy, which I don't think is that kind, but it would be that the rot spread to their brain. And those people still are okay with it.
Yeah.
But
They
it's
made
an
a lot of money in the
ideological rot.
process. Yeah.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
And
But-
it's one based off jealousy and fear.
Jealousy.
And yeah. Oh yeah, it's the classic thing. It's based off of hatred for the rich, not love of the poor.
Ah. Well, the rich sure did well past decade.
If there was a class war, they definitely won it the past decade, right?
Yeah.
Well, at
If
but
there's not one, they didn't. But if there is one, they did pretty handily. Like pretty, it was
Yeah.
like if they did, they won it without people even knowing that the war was on, kind of.
Mm-hmm. I think COVID, well, there was milestones. Like there was the Trump election in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
That was a milestone, and then COVID was another milestone. But
well, but
I
that's
think
what
now
we use
it's-
politics for, and the news cycles is to distract us from less important stuff than this. And yeah, the eroding of our economy and all of the our horrible fucking food system and our horrible
Yep.
like we simultaneously have the best medical system in the world and we pay the most for medicine, but at the same time as we have the worst health outcomes in almost anywhere in the fucking world.
Mhm.
We have more chronic disease issues than anywhere else in the world.
Mhm.
Because our food is poison,
Mhm.
Yeah.
by and large.
Oh,
Well, and it's like so many people have known this for a long time, and it's like, and people, it's just been something that like, well, I mean, and that's the whole like, yeah, I don't know if it's okay to switch subjects, but like that's why the whole RFK stuff went viral immediately, and everybody like when he came out and gave his short speech at the Trump rally, how they cheered louder for him when he came out there than at any point other than the entire night, and I've ever heard any rally. Yeah, and it was just because they were like, "Oh, sweet, we're actually going to deal with our food system and corruption, and we're actually getting people together, who disagree on shit, and then they're going to actually be able to disagree between themselves publicly and privately." Is something that, well, that's what we need. That's something that politics is always supposed to have been, that you come together to get shit done that you actually agree on. And then the other stuff, you can actually debate on it. But because you agree on the other stuff, you actually have a good spirited debate where you actually listen to each other on the other stuff. And yeah, maybe I'm just fucking idealistic and naive and, just drink the wrong fucking Kool-Aid. But,
No.
it's like that's right now. I'm drinking the hope Kool-Aid, and because I want it to be gluten-free and organic and
and not full of poison.
Yeah, not poisoning us.
No.
Yeah, I think that the FDA has not passed muster as an institution very well. I'd say like, I don't know, man. I'd say the Department of Education has not done a very good job over the course of the last
well, it's had
10 years,
continuing-
especially competing on a global scale.
Well,
I'd say like
ever since the Department of Ed has gotten instituted, it's had continual lowering standards.
yes.
Or I should say not standards, but as far as results,
What do you mean by instituted? Just clear that up. When was that roughly?
Let me just go look it up.
So Interesting. I'm just curious because, like,
But,
is it like a
we're
recent
talking
thing, or
like,
we?
we're relatively recently.
Okay, okay. But
I
I
you know,
mean,
like slightly before we were born, kind of a thing, is what I understand.
yeah, yeah. I mean, pick your institution, and they've kind of failed the past decade. I mean, pick anything. I feel like, and there's been issues. So yeah.
1979.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So like all in all, like recent history. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, I mean, that fully influenced all of our education. And I mean, Common Core, all that bullshit, that's probably part of that. And then I mean, nowadays, like, I feel like the education system, I mean, America used to be like the fucking have a great education system. I mean, maybe that's just all bullshit. Maybe it's just a story we're told, but apparently it used to be good, but now it's like meh. Like we're
It-
not,
It's
It's very
certainly
lukewarm.
yeah.
hit or miss, but like it's much more that just like people did the basic what what was considered basic back then about just like so like I went to a school up in Montana, and at one of those schools like I just went in there, and like it was 6th grade and we were doing sentence structure graphing. So we would just take any sentence at this point, and that's by the time I got dropped into this, where it was like, oh, the verb you put up here, you put this here, you put noun, and then you put the extra words down here, and you just like graph out the whole sentence based upon what parts of speech they are, and it was just like, and then like literally 2 years later, I'm starting 8th grade with this new teacher, and she gave us this packet that was supposed to last us 12 weeks, and all it was circle the noun, uh underline the verb, and then put a slash mark between the subject and the predicate. And she expected this to be a thing that for us to learn in fucking 8th grade, you know, and it was
Yeah.
just like it. I blew through that entire packet before she finished explaining to the rest of the class what a noun and a verb was. And so I raised my hand when she said, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "What do you do when you're done?" And she's like, "Oh, you can't be done yet." I got detention because I did the assignment before she explained it.
Yeah.
Really. You
Yeah,
basically made her feel like a clown, and she didn't like that. So
I
she
learned that
got you in
shit.
trouble.
I learned that shit in fucking 3rd grade. What a fucking noun and a verb was. Are you
I
fucking
didn't.
kidding me? And this is 8th grade? Like
Oh, eighth grade. God damn, yeah.
8th grade.
Yeah, okay.
Like holy fucking shit. And
uh
it's like that was like back then, and it's like I've
yeah.
only got worse because I had a few really good teachers who taught me, a lot,
Yeah.
and so
But
most of them
uh,
sucked.
yeah. The education system, it's not meant for the top. It's about serving the bottom, and that sounds
For
shitty, but
sure.
it's true. Yeah. It's
Sounds a
like,
little
Well, it's
gay.
kind of made for the industrial base, but we don't really have the industrial base anymore, so it doesn't really work very well for purpose
no.
anymore.
Yeah.
Because we really kind of continued and sped up in some ways the shipping of jobs overseas seas during Pluto and Capricorn, I'd say. Um,
Oh yeah.
we also sold a lot of resources here, like land and companies and things like that to foreign investors,
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so there was kind of a gutting of a lot of the institutions no longer served the public anymore. They served you know, whoever the highest bidder was in a lot of cases.
For
And I
sure.
think that's the Pluto and Capricorn just brought that rot to the surface in our institutions and our
Oh yeah.
government. And I think a lot of people are very awake and aware of it now, and more than have ever been before. But I think that there's a ton of people that are still under like the illusion that the media presents, which is totally different than what reality is anymore, you know. There's like, I think No Agenda talks about it as Dementia A and Dementia B.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They feel a lot different now. Like they feel Dementia B feels a lot more lost to me than they have been in a long time. You know, the people that just kind of follow narratives
Oh yeah.
that are told to them from above.
The blueies.
And I don't think that that's considered good as much by other people anymore. There's a lot more challenge to that kind of position. So there's probably tons of cognitive dissonance that's happening with people. And when that happens, people have a chance to kind of wake up. And once people are awake, they tend not to go back to sleep right away, at least, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I find, like I think I've said it before, but at least how I put it is basically their worldview, their ideology has to fail them. So
Yeah.
when it no longer gets them the results they want out of reality, and it no longer makes them see themselves the way that they want to see themselves, that's when it gets broken. So that's
Yep.
when that's how I understand when I've looked at cults and that kind of mentality of that's when it gets broken, you know? And so then you have the thing is that do you have a previous mentality to fall back on? And a lot of people have for more or less a normie perspective to fall back on, you know. And that's also I find when a lot of people go through stress or whatever, they fall back on religion that they grew up on,
Yep.
you know. So they're gonna go they're gonna go restore to a previous save point where that ideology before that ideology was there, and sometimes that puts you back to a previous worldview, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I've understood in a lot of humans or whatever, the just standard way to be like, oh, okay, I made an error, I'm going to just, you know, try to move away from that neuron set as much as possible, which moves you back to your old worldview, you know.
Hmm.
And but at the same time is that like, but that worldview generally failed them to begin with. So a lot of them are then going to be prone to actually exploring something new from a new place, you know? But some people then just stay there. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, that's my
No.
observation.
No. There's a lot of there's this like Christian traditionalism. I mean, that's one example of it, but there's a lot of like, let's just go back to the old ways. Like, I mean, even you know, make America great again. I mean, not that it's that whole mentality of like, well, let's go back to the way things were, which is not possible,
No.
Well, and I think that's
but
why part
it's
of
the
the
same
And not
sentiment.
not necessarily
why they've used
desirable either for a lot of
No,
people,
no,
you know.
no. I get that. Yeah, like that
well,
too. That too. Yeah.
and that's why it was a little bit of a false. It wasn't a great slogan because and that's been the biggest like problem with like Trump's great at branding, but he still has his blind spots because it's like he wants to be liked so much that he keeps only basically talking to the people who like him.
Mm.
But he's running for president and he needs to talk to the people who are undecided or, you know, you know, don't
I
fully
think
hate him.
I think
You
he's
know?
doing that by saying I would say he's doing that by stepping back on abortion a bunch. Um and also I think he's doing that by saying that weed should be legalized now. Um
And
Federally.
he fully supports IVF treatment. He basically said
Yep.
it's either going to be government funded or I'm going to make the insurance companies pay for it.
My family really dislikes that because they liken it to like abortion in some ways, or that those fetal lines are sold for profit or whatever. I don't know. There's something about it that they don't like at all.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. But that's never been really a super driving issue for me either, though, you know. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty much in the middle on that. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are okay with it being to the states, you know. Like it's kind of surprising a lot of people don't want any kind of federal thing on it, if that makes any sense.
Well,
But
I
there
mean,
are a lot of people that are really driven by that are single issue when it comes to it. So
Yeah.
well, I mean, I can understand different arguments with it, but it's just the thing is the more I understand about government, the more that's like, it's like the freedom of speech means that, oh, oppressed communities get to express themselves and artists get to express themselves and we get to have voices against power. But we also get some fucking asshole gets to be an asshole because that's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always going to be drawbacks to things that are important and valuable that we need to fight for. And, you know, and with that stuff, we have to realize that there's always going to be, um, I forget anyway, the trade-offs. There's always going to be trade-offs to every decision we have. And the thing is that, it's a little bit of which trade-offs we want. And it's like, are you going to limit? For me, I would rather enable a little bit of negativity to allow a lot more positivity than limit positivity because it's going to almost negate all negativity. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like the I allow for more peaks is not going to make less valleys. That's what I've learned in life, you know? And trying to, I mean, that doesn't mean we shouldn't tax large corporations or whatever. But it's like you have to understand, like, there's a context to all of those decisions. And it's not just oh, they have lots of money, they should pay more money because I don't have money. You know, it's like, it's, you know, it's like when you look at economics, it has to be a lot more complicated than that. And, you know,
yeah.
Well, I heard about taxing unrealized gains, which I think is probably pretty dumb.
Right.
They were saying it was for really, really rich people, but that's actually worse in some ways because it would mean that they would have to sell all their stock all at once. So it would like be super disruptions to the market all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because unrealized gains are gains that you haven't cashed out, basically. So taxing that is really it would have a lot of downstream consequences that I don't think people understand at all. But a lot of our tax system is kind of bullshit anyway. Piled on bullshit, you know. So, and there should be a lot less of our taxes, so there's a lot less of the government that we currently have, you know, because it's gotten pretty big for its britches, I'd say.
I agree.
We've seen the excesses, I think, in Pluto and Capricorn too, like the kind of ridiculous aspect of like deep state stuff, I think came out during it, if you think about it. And while some aspects of that weren't true, like Q necessarily, or Q was something, but maybe not the real thing, there is definitely an administrative state that's underneath like the surface and really has a lot more say than they should in an elective system. And they're the ones that stay around and they're the ones that target who they want to target too, which is with a lot of help from media. And the media collusion with certain parts of the government has been very interesting to see, you know, like the marching orders as they've changed, you know, like don't talk about Biden having dementia, you know? What?
Oh, on a dime. Just like,
so quick.
The second the debate ended, it was one narrative. And then it just like, as soon as the JD Vance, which is like, I don't know much about JD Vance at all, but they were just like weird.
Couch fucker, you know, weird, couch fucker, weird, couch fucker. That's what I was hearing.
The couch fucker was actually a funny meme. The left actually the left actually figured out a good meme.
I still don't get that one, but yeah.
It's just dumb, stupid fun.
Wait, you guys have never fucked a couch when you were a teenager?
I mean,
we're live right now. I refuse to answer any of that kind of question.
Me neither. I was just asking. Me neither, but you know, just double checking. Okay, cool, cool.
And then they're doing the whole like, you know, they keep saying, you know, Troy. They're like strength through Troy, you know, and I'm just like, you know, and I'm like, if they keep saying that, I might actually like, you know.
Wait, who's Troy? No.
I know who Troy is. He's one of our co-hosts.
Oh, that Troy. Oh,
Sorry,
gotcha.
I was making a joke.
Nola wants
So
them. Do you want Nola in here?
Oh, what's up?
The Nola wants in.
Oh, yeah.
Nola in.
Let Nola in. Fuck yeah. Come on, Nola.
well, she usually
Here
pushes her
comes the
way in
dog.
without, you know,
Nola. Thank you.
the door just
Whoa.
swings open.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nola.
Yeah, usually she does. Yeah, she'll just push her way in. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Hi, Nola. Anyway, sorry about the interruption. Yeah,
Oh, good.
Troy. I thought we were talking about, let's go back to ancient Greece or whatever. The fall of
No,
Troy.
You shouldn't cook
I
with
was
ancient grease. You know, you don't know if it's spoiled.
Cause a fire in your
Yeah, it
car.
could cause a
Yeah.
fire. Could be rancid. You know,
Yeah.
dangerous for
Mm-hmm.
your health.
yeah, I was listening to some like alternate history people essentially, and they were like going through all this stuff, and they were like essentially going, the J didn't exist until the certain period of history. So there's a pretty easy point where you can just kind of like look at all this stuff, and if it has a J in it, you can date it. And he's basically just like pointing out like all these historical documents that are supposed to be dated for certain things. Well, these have J's in them, so we know that these were written by these people and all this kinds of stuff. And he was basically going through, and he was like, and he's just like, yeah, much of what we know about like ancient Greece and all these other like ancient sites and whatever, that they're just like heavily curated and like, you know, uh like apparently there's a place I was just listening to up in Alaska, and it's filled with all of these like mastodon and saber-toothed tiger and all these antelope stuff and all this kinds of stuff that shouldn't, as far as the current fossil record, none of that stuff exists up there. And then they were trying to like they he's been trying to figure out why it was all just like on his property and just like pretty much all just sitting right there on the ground when he bought this place. And uh and they basically more or less figured out what happened is sometime in the like at they dumped all this stuff in the river to get rid of it, and then this is a washed up riverbed of when the river changed. um and so basically like uh it's like, so people specifically at one point in time like were trying to erase history and trying to change your perception of not just where humans have been, but what animals have been in certain areas, and just trying to change our complete perception of the past.
Yeah. I
A
mean,
long-held plan, planned in secret,
dude, yeah.
thousands of years.
Yeah, mud floods in Tartaria or whatever. Fuck, let's go.
No.
It's the more I learn about Tartaria, the more I'm like, it's there's just way too many things there. If it's not Tartaria, it's something. But there's enough there that's it alludes to something we don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, what is Tartaria? I thought you were talking about Khazaria, which I think is different.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
different. That's different.
so, no,
Yeah, I was
Tartaria is
worried about that, but
basically,
Tartaria might be fun.
so as it's more or less understood in a generic sense, is that it was a global community, like intercultural community. So it's not that and supposedly there was cultural points in like most of the continents across the globe. So there was like lots of cities of
Mhm.
Tartaria, and
Yeah.
including like San Francisco, Chicago.
Yep.
But it was based out of like Russia area toward like
Yep.
in Mongolia area.
Yep.
And so they say that also in with this multicultural society that there were pre-existing elements of what am I trying to say? Judaism, Christianity, and the other one, the Muhammad one, Islam.
Islam?
That yeah.
The
So
Muhammad one, whatever that one's called.
Yeah, you know.
either way,
The
yeah, either but
and we're gonna get killed.
yes, but there's a whole bunch of architectural stuff that you can look at, that they show. There's a lot of different pictures that they've shown, and apparently is like if you follow this timeline or whatever, it's more that like Tartaria was like within like 1900, was
1800s.
eliminated. No,
Eight-
like what I'm saying is like by the turn of the century, they were
Oh, yeah.
basically eliminating all of the buildings
Yeah.
and such
The whole,
like that. That a lot of people are saying that World War I and World War II was basically part of the reason they waged that war
Yep.
was to
Purge.
basically eliminate a whole bunch of history.
Exactly. Let me just jump in. It's
buildings.
oh,
Go ahead.
no, just you fucking nailed it. I'm amazed you actually know so much about it because it's definitely considered a conspiracy theory, but like, and yeah, it's this whole idea that it was like a more advanced civilization than like, so like our history as we know it is like, oh, like we've slowly progressed and then our technology has gotten better and everything's gotten better, but apparently like the Tartaria theory is that like there was an advanced or more advanced civilization with amazing buildings, like you said, in architecture and better technology. Not better technology necessarily than we have, but better than what our, timeline of history, especially the past like 500 years to 1,000 years, tells us. And there was and it's mixed in with like the conspiracy theory of like mud floods that happened that basically like took out a lot of these, you know, these areas and these buildings and like people get really into it where like they'll take like older building like we wonder why like architecture like there was this like grand architecture all over the world and then like nowadays we have like just garbage architecture and like it goes deep into like this idea that the quote unquote elites try to like basically keep people dumb by resetting civilization every 200 years or so. I mean, the people pick different numbers, but I say about every
They
200
want the
years.
servants to keep serving, right? Like that's basically
Exactly.
the
Yeah. Because if we keep going on this, like, if we're like everything, if society and everything advances, then at some point people are going to go, well, we don't need to like I mean, if we advance enough where like we can get like, things can be really good. So then you have to like reset it
pretty cheap,
and then,
yeah.
yeah, and then have to like slowly build back up again. Because in that building period, you can make a lot of money, number one. And also it keeps people, dumbed down and kind of struggling. Because when people are struggling, they're easier to control. What?
Did you ever watch that South Park episode about 9/11 where it basically all came down to at the end where all of the 9/11 conspiracy theories were coming from George Bush because he wanted everybody to think that he was so powerful enough to orchestrate everything himself?
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
And so, and I think that's part of what one of my online friends calls them parasites because that's what he so essentially that the current criminal organization ideology that took over whatever, let's just say 200 years ago or whatever, more or less, but that they needed to dumb everybody down so that we were easily controllable.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the Never Ending Story, you should go watch the speech of the wolf in the cave. And he's basically, it's like, why are you trying to terrorize everybody? Why are you trying to destroy imagination and fantasia, which is essentially the consciousness manifestation of all imagination of all people. And he was like, I want to control people, and if people don't have imagination, they're stuck in fear, and if they're stuck in fear, I can control them. And it was just like, oh, this is deep for a kids movie.
Yeah, there's some movies that like have some deeper, a lot of kids movies actually have some very accurate like philosophical and spiritual truths. They're like,
For
oh, wait a
sure.
minute. Like they might sum it up in a simple way, but they fucking nail it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't want to get all the way down the rabbit hole because like
no, that wasn't my point.
I'll let you say something in just a second, Mike. It's that the problem is always way harder to convince people on than the solution, but sometimes you have to just convince or let people know what the problem actually is so that they'll actually look for a solution.
Fuck yeah. Oh,
Sorry,
I've heard that the problem sometimes leads to a reaction. And if you have a solution ready, that you can move people closer to your goal.
yep.
Heard about that.
Yeah.
Well, I would, and my only rebuttal to that would be overreaction. Because the thing is that when people are have heightened emotions, that makes all of their reactions very predictable because they're overreacting to everything. you know, because
That's why fear helps.
Yep. And where it's like, no, we should react to solutions, or we should react to problems. Problem is most of the time we overreact rather than actually like thinking about it and actually taking the data in about a situation. Because sometimes we need to be like, oh, this is a shitty thing. Like, okay, we can take whatever X amount of time to make this decision. Sometimes that's going to be like, oh, we need to make a decision right now because the problem's like immediate. And sometimes it's like, oh, the problem already happened. Now we need to get into solution mode to implement a solution that's going to make sure it doesn't happen again, or could prevent, or at least easy to respond to it if it did, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fuck. Damn. What a lull. Because I'm like, fuck.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, fuck. Where do we go from there? That's some heavy shit. I guess
We can keep going heavier. We could
let's
just
do it. Yeah,
keep
fuck
diving.
it. Yeah. That sounds good. That sounds good. That's where my brain's at now anyway. So
I think Pluto and Capricorn showed kind of the plutocrats, because I think that there's an aspect of me that sees I don't see people like making money off doing good things as a bad thing.
Yeah.
What happened? Hand?
Oh no, I was telling Troy to keep going. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you. You're on a good
You said
fucking...
heavy, so I grabbed my weight. If you
Oh, okay. So you were like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
totally
totally
No,
missed
I wanted him to keep going the rest of the episode, basically. Anyways, okay, yeah. Sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to distract.
I mean, I got endurance, but I mean, you'd have to be a little bit prettier to make me go the rest of the episode.
Rude.
Sorry, you're not my type.
Now we're just gonna be silent and make you go for the rest of the episode. How about that?
Yep. No, but okay, Mike.
We'll fix this in post. We'll fix this in post.
No, we won't. This is perfect.
Yeah, no post.
What was that point?
Pluto and Capricorn.
So Pluto and Capricorn, a lot of people got tremendously rich, but some of those people got tremendously rich by doing kind of cool things like making rockets and fucking cars and shit. You know, not all of it was fucking bad. You know, I'm not just talking about Elon. There's other people that have done that too. The problem comes when they use that power that they get to basically buy off politicians and to have laws written that are specifically for them, I would say. And that's like the rot of the system interacting with the very rich or the very high level companies, is they have enough influence to get the legislation written specifically for them, which is not awesome. But we can get back to Tartaria. I'm ready.
Well, okay.
I'm ready to learn more.
Well, in theory, I mean, I think that it has to do with again, it's how much do you believe about the story of history that we have? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Most people are like, well, I believe the story. So then they just brush off any alternative ideas. But if it is accurate and there is like a reset, it might actually happen every 500 years with like Neptune-Pluto conjunctions, because time-wise, that might be when this last one happened, was in the very late 1800s when the Neptune-Pluto conjunction happened. And
what was that in at the time?
Gemini.
Oh, okay. Huh. All the trickery, that makes sense. Like a big huge reset design, basically moving things around. I know that tons of archaeologists can't really do anything in their field because it's so tightly controlled, like what they can actually release, so there's all these like very gated institutions, scientific institutions, that don't really allow new information to come out anymore too, which is like a form of corruption, when the gates are held so tight that new experiments and new discoveries can't come through.
Yeah, I mean, the Weinsteins called it essentially informational feudalism, epistemological feudalism. Essentially, that you have to go to the Lord and Lady of Science to get you approved and donned and doffed, protested and anointed to be
Mhm.
the procurer of science. It's almost
The
like a religion.
experts.
It actually
Yeah.
is. I mean, it's like literally fucking Fauci said, I am science. I am science. They're attacking the science.
Good accent, man. Loved it.
I mean, yeah. Oh, the stuff coming out about that guy. Oh, and did you know that he has Secret Service protection and RFK no longer does?
Yeah, because he withdrew supposedly from the campaign. They should have not done
Well,
it because it looked petty. They could probably redo it.
I mean, technically, he suspended running for campaign, but he did not withdraw his name from the ballot or from candidacy. He said he was going to pull off his name off of 10 battleground states, so he wouldn't be a spoiler candidate. And then the interesting thing is like one of the states right now is like refusing to take his name off the ballot, but while at the same time they're changing it to Kamala Harris last minute.
Huh.
So it's just like the interesting double standards in the government of what they will do for the person that they want versus
Yeah.
any person from the outside, which is like what totally destroyed like any faith I had in the Democratic Party is watching them steal the election from Bernie twice.
Yeah.
And then they did the exact same thing to RFK, but even worse.
Yeah.
They didn't even fucking let him
They
run.
just shut him out of the process completely, basically.
Well, and caused him a whole bunch.
Because they had a fine young candidate to run named Joe Biden, who was absolutely in possession of all of his faculties. He was not a chief executive with no executive function, no matter what it might have seemed like to the layman. The media assured us every time that he fell or turned around and wandered away that that was totally normal and everybody was losing their minds about it.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the biggest gaslighting fests I've ever seen from
I
the
was just
media.
gonna say, let's just turn the
They're
lamp
doing it
down.
So deep.
They're astroturfing all this stuff right now, and like the funniest thing is I saw is that like, so you know on Google you get the sponsored results above the normal results, and legally those have different requirements as far as Google's concerned. So the sponsored ones that are essentially ads can be anything you want. So this was a thing that came out like last week or the week before. The Harris campaign was essentially going and editing and making false headlines that basically was saying that just like essentially re-editing history and putting up fake screenshots of articles that didn't exist, you know, as
Jeez.
advertisement. And so when you go, so when you would be like, oh, you would go search for them on a certain topic, you would go see the screenshot or whatever of the ad that they made, which is essentially a false headline, but because it's advertisement, it's considered free speech.
Yep.
Oh
And
shit.
and so and it was even tripping up some journalists who work at those places like, wait, did we publish that? I don't remember publishing that. And apparently like there was something like 20 or 30 of them that they did, and it was all just like a whole bunch of different stuff out. Oh, Kamala Harris is good for the economy and good for black people, and just like all these random fucking weird headlines. And it's just like the internet's an interesting place when you have multiple people who can crowdsource information together, and when you're actually open to the truth, you know, and people being like, huh, this is weird. Can other people look at this? This seems weird to me. And then other people look into it, and you know, and then all of a sudden you have like 100 people, you know, crowdsourcing information and all kind of sleuthing in on something. And then all of a sudden like a whole bunch of stuff pops up, and it's just like, and it's funny how much that like Reddit and random places and blogs and like random fucking YouTubers are
Yeah.
breaking some bigger stories, you
Yeah.
know? Like not even like news YouTubers, but sometimes you'll just have random fucking YouTubers just being like, yeah, so I got given this thing and I just have to say something about it. I mean, I'm sure you guys have both seen it over the years, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If yeah, like there's certain ones. If Asmongold is talking about stuff, you know it's serious. I don't know. Do you know him? Asmongold? He's
Oh,
a
he's
gamer
alright.
Asmongold?
YouTuber. Asmongold, yeah.
I've
He's
heard
got
of him. I think I've seen him on Twitter, maybe.
he's notorious for having an incredibly dirty house.
Is he the
He's a
one with like the long hair that reviews games a bunch?
yes, yes.
And he likes Dark Souls a lot? Is
Yeah,
that
I
that
think
guy?
so. I think
Yeah.
so, yeah. And he's just
Goofy, kind of fun
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
yeah,
Did you see
exactly.
his
But when
clip
he
of?
gets into politics, you know it's serious. What?
Yeah, well, I mean, for the most part, he's just a gamer, so it's just like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
when you get gamers who like, oh, I'm not just a gamer, but now my whole life is gaming, and I get paid to game, and I just get to be myself online, and then you
Yeah.
force those people to get into politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's like most people don't understand that. Like,
They went through
well,
Gamergate, for fuck's sake. You got to be careful. They're veterans of the meme wars.
Yeah, yeah.
one,
A
and
lot
it
of them
sucks
are,
right
man.
now that it's like you can't even be a fan of sci-fi or Star Wars or like any of these big franchises right now and be public about it without it like being a political statement one way or another, or getting into that territory because the culture war has like seeped itself into certain topics. So it's
Yeah.
like now like what used to be a point where it's like, oh, you like Star Trek, I like Star Trek, nobody else likes Star Trek, so we can just fucking talk about Star Trek or Star Wars. We could go
Nerd
talk
out.
about this random fucking video game. That used to be one of these things that like bonded people together because it was like, oh, these are niche things. And now they hit certain levels of popularity that people wanted to use them as platforms for whatever their message is. And now it's become this place where it's like you can't even on certain these franchises, be like, oh, I like Thing. Oh, well, you like Thing because blah blah blah, or you don't like Thing because of blah blah blah, and it becomes a divisive topic where it's like these used to be things that unified people for the most part.
Yeah. No, I get
Word.
it. But yeah, if you don't like Star Wars right now, you're a fucking troll, Republican, far right, so and so. Which it's like I don't know what you're talking about, but it's like I just don't like the new Star Wars movies. No, you're just a anti whatever.
Well, or the Acolyte, dude. The Acolyte is one of those things that it was so bad that even all the people who liked Disney Star Wars didn't like it.
Put a woman in it and make it fucking gay.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what Cartman did?
It was. I mean, it was.
You gotta
I
put
mean,
a woman in it and make it fucking gay.
like I watched. I watched a couple long clips of things just to be like, just
Oh
to
shit.
see how bad it was, just in like full context,
Yeah.
So
How
I
bad
could
was
watch
it?
like,
Yeah.
oh my god. Let me put it this way: they were in a cave with stone walls, and they all died within a few minutes when it caught on fire.
Wow.
What caught on
Uh,
fire?
and then also there's
The
this thing
air
in
must
Disney
have,
Star
because
Wars where
stone doesn't.
people get hit with a fucking lightsaber.
Oh, he's got a lightsaber. Oh, he does have a lightsaber. This is just a reason for him to pull out his lightsaber.
Hit with a fucking lightsaber. Well, I got a prop. I might as well use it.
Oh fuck it, no, I can't
Right
hit.
in
Prop
the
comedy.
chest. They get hit in the torso, impaled, not grazed, impaled into organ area with a hot fucking lightsaber. Like, remember in Phantom Menace when they're cutting through those blast doors really
Oh, yeah.
slowly and all that stuff's melting? Yeah. What would that do to your fucking organ tissue? They've
Not
had
good
several.
things.
Yeah.
Would cauterize the wound though.
Yeah, it could. I mean, that's the only thing that I could think of that would save the
Well,
bad writing. But
Well,
why are we looking?
that's
We
what they
shouldn't
say.
stand up for these people anyway.
Yeah, what the fuck? God damn it.
I did
It's,
like
But
Rogue
Troy-
One. That was the last real Star Wars thing that I was
was good.
into.
Well,
Rogue
like,
One was cool.
well, if they did Rogue One and they did I was okay with Rebels for the most part. There was a couple things in it which I wasn't a big fan of, but that was done decently. And then Andor was written in a way that was like respecting the characters, deep characters, motivation, you know, like if they did those as their side stories and then actually understood what a goddamn fucking hero is and actually understand, like, there's so many fucking people out there who actually understand the lore, who actually understand the characters, who and understand the force, that like even if you said, okay, I want you to write a thing 1,000 years in the future or 1,000 years in the past or whatever in between, there's enough people out there. Like, there's literally so many authors who have literally written fucking books in the Star Wars universe, you
Yep.
know? And it's just like,
That are
and they're,
good too. I remember some of those books in the 90s. They were awesome.
They
oh
were.
yeah.
Yeah, they were cool.
Well, and it's just like, and it's just, it's just ridiculous because it's the same thing in Star Trek. Because if like, so pretty much all of New Trek was pretty terrible, but then like Picard seasons 1 and 2 were basically so hated by people and basically just turned everybody off the franchise, and the ratings were so low that I forget the fucking guy's name right now. He passed it off to somebody else because he wanted to start making Strange New Worlds, to be like, oh, I'm gonna go revamp it, and you can go do the last season of Picard. And so Terry Metalis, with a shoestring budget, they didn't even fucking record it on 4K. They didn't even have that much budget, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. And that season they brought back fucking Riker, Geordi,
Nice.
Worf, Beverly. I mean, it was it it was so, like, it was one of those things where it was just like I loved it and it was one of my favorite things while being a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little bit campy and little stuff like this, but it was clearly done with
Next
love.
Generation was campy. I mean, it's a campy show, you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah, it
Exactly.
was so good.
I
But
thought the
it was,
coolest sci-fi that I've seen
you
that's
did,
come out recently is The Expanse. Have you guys ever seen that?
oh, that's so good.
It is the
No,
best sci-fi
Oh,
I've ever seen in my life. The
I'm gonna
best
write that
it,
sci-fi
down.
show.
well, it definitely gets the crown on the sci-fi angle, on what it does with its physics for actually space travel is
Yeah.
pretty fucking on point. And like, oh, this is how it would actually be within the next like few bounds of our certain technology. And then yeah, and then all the stuff with the proto molecules interesting too. But like, that show started on sci-fi, got canceled, then fans petitioned for it to get back for a second season. They canceled it again. Then it got accepted by some other person. They did another season or two, I can't remember. And then Amazon bought it up, and then they did another 1 or 2 seasons to essentially finish with 5 seasons. And you know, it was a, I mean, you can see that, you can tell where they shifted each season a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, but for the most part, like, it's definitely one of the best sci-fis I've seen. Oh, it's, I mean, in the last decade, you know what I'm saying, in this
Yeah.
era.
Yeah. Have you seen For All Mankind? I heard that's good. It's made by
No.
Ronald D. Moore.
Is that a series or a movie?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's a series. I only heard about it. It was on what? Oh, Apple TV. I'm looking it up, but it's what would happen if the global space race had never happened after the Soviet Union succeeds in the first crewed moon landing ahead of the United States? But it was created by Ronald D. Moore, who worked on Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica and stuff. I was just curious, but sounds like I'll have to check it out myself. I'm just curious, but
I
I'll
like
check
that
out The
we're getting
Expanse.
into like culture and memory because of the Neptune
Oh yeah.
cancer thing that we had at the beginning is kind of interesting. Like we're going
Mm-hmm.
into weird and new
Mm.
directions, which we haven't really done before.
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds
like
a lot more just like dudes talking
yeah,
more
Well,
than
there's
it
and like
ever
one.
has.
nostalgia mixed with like
Yeah.
yeah. That's cool. I
Yeah.
dig it.
Yeah. Well,
Into it.
so one other show that I've just watched the first season of on Apple TV was Dark Matter.
Oh, I've
Um,
heard good things.
yeah, I mean, there was one on Sci-Fi a while ago that had a few seasons which I really liked, but this is a completely different premise. Basically, a guy gets abducted by an alternate version of himself from an alternate reality and drops in his reality and swaps places, and that's
Yep,
essentially the premise.
that's
I've seen
cool.
it. It's good.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
it's
I
very
mean,
good.
it starts out to be a little bit like, oh, they're focused so much on the drama. And so and it felt like a little bit trite to me because I've watched so many sci-fis, so I'm just like, oh, fucking multiple realities. Okay, we're gonna get a couple different multiple versions of people. But like as it was going out, the dialogue and it was acted really well. It was
Yep.
like the conceptions of who these different alternate versions of what and how they motivated and how they were portrayed on screen was very well done. And then to be honest is it had me so distracted with being like, let's see where this campy little show goes, and then all of a sudden it gets to the last like 2 episodes of it and I'm like, I am so excited to see where this is going to go next season. Like
That's cool.
Yeah.
well, because I mean, like, yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's
They
definitely
left a lot of threads that they can follow for sure. A
well,
lot.
well, it's like it's literally infinite universes.
Yep.
Like, I mean, um, so yeah, it's pretty awesome. I love how they set it up, and but the characters, it's really well done because it 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 doesn't seem very character driven at first. But then once it gets I guess it starts out a little bit more of like a thing happened to the main characters and then they're overcoming it, and then by the end of the season it's much more of like uh them writing their own story, I guess. And so it's just like it's yeah, it's another great one I really like, which I'm excited for the second season on, is Silo, if you've seen that.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. There's a
It's on
lot I
Apple
need to
TV as
watch.
well.
They've been
Yeah.
coming out with some good sci-fi on Apple TV. Damn.
Plus, there is nothing like sitting with your girl on the couch and watching a good show and getting into it. So,
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. Well, shit. I'm writing these down.
Well,
That's
and
awesome.
also
Netflix and chill is a real thing.
It is.
well, and while we're at it, One Piece live action, fucking
My
awesome.
kids started watching that. Yeah, it
It
looks
is
pretty interesting.
it's it seems campy at first, and which it is, but like it's it's still considered, as far as I'm concerned and as far as I'm aware, the best anime live action adaptation.
Huh.
I mean, like like, and I can see where they made certain artistic things, like certain of the characters were much smaller than they were on screen. Like, and there were certain things where it's like they made certain character changes in certain ways, but as I can see it, they wanted to make it a little bit more human, but also save them a lot of fucking budget so that they don't have to sit and spend a lot of budget just making someone really fucking big or putting a weird fucking nose on someone, you know?
Yeah.
So they took away those few elements so they could focus on the other stuff, you know? And it's like, and as the small amount of filmmaking I'm aware of, it's just like, yeah, let's go save a few $1,000s on somebody's fucking nose, or like trying to huge humongo size this guy when we're really trying to tell a story and we can
Yeah.
still have a pretty fucking really cool fight scene without him being 3 times the other guy's size. You know,
Yeah.
I think they're going to do that later on for other stuff when they get into it, but at least for like the first season, you know. But you also like, it's a lot of thing with anime and especially One Piece because I've watched a lot of episodes of it now. Uh, it it's all about building, and part of the whole thing with the world building is that like the thing only everything is referential to itself in the universe because you don't have, especially when you're talking about magic or power levels way beyond human ability, you can only compare them to the things that you have reference to in the show. So it's like, so power levels, and that's the whole thing about like why nerds talking about could Captain America beat Hulk or Thor or whatever like this, and talking about their power levels is like, it's because it's like it actually matters in the lore of the universe to know like what their moves do and such like this, because like, first of all, it's, you want to have cohesive writing. If you respect the rules of the universe, well then people are going to respect uh your stuff, but you're also respecting all of the time people put in, especially if you're like having multiple movies, multiple episodes, multiple seasons. If you don't have that cohesiveness where you're rewarding them for paying attention to the point where the more you pay attention, the more you actually enjoy, because you're actually like all the details actually add up to something. That's respecting the attention that people give you, you know? Same thing like when you're writing a song is like, with which Mike knows all about this, it's like it's all about respecting your audience. Oh wait.
I know nothing about that. I'm gonna write a song about you now.
Please do. Please do. And can it be a whole bunch of Tibetan monks chanting with Gregorian chants over top?
I'm not at that level yet, but maybe it can be like maybe it can be like samba grunge or something. It can be something just terrible. It's like it could be anything except for what you just asked for.
Well, but I mean, as an Aries, I'm gonna take it personal, whatever you do. So
I'd imagine. I mean, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty much out of time, guys. Just so you all know.
Worries. No worries. I feel it.
But it has been a lovely night. I feel like we lived up to the dice, and
exactly.
Yeah, we'll figure out what to name it in some future time. Y'all have a good night.
Peace, brother.
Astro Bro out.
Peace.